Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. My camera didn't update, so I'm not 100%, or YouTube didn't update on my phone, whatever it was. I don't know how this is going to work out. Let me know. Coming out to you today with a Pokemon sales data video. We're going to bang it off with a Dark Blastoise First Edition BGS 8.5. I hate it when they have a whole mess of things. So 8.5 for the corners and the surface. Those are the subgrades. 9.5 for the centering, and then 8 for the edges. And then total that came to $251. That's what that sold for, which makes sense if the PSA 9 sells for about $350. Yeah, that works. Houndour from Houndour from Neo Discovery, First Edition PSA 9, sold for $197. Now top two bids were $197 and $195. Then the third bid was $160, and the fourth bid was $131. Now I just did a little research on this because I was curious. There's only 21 PSA 10 copies for Houndour. And Neo Discovery isn't exactly the most coveted set right now. And not that it maybe ever will be, but I think it's long overdue for a run. Long overdue for just a bull run, this whole thing. Because if we look at it, there's 155 PSA 9 copies. And if we go to Houndoom, First Edition PSA 10, there's only 31 PSA 10 copies and 154 PSA 9 copies. So relatively almost the same as far as copies submitted. These are very hard to grade because that Houndour, beautiful artwork, beautiful holo on it, and is just probably prone to scratching, and I'm not sure what else exactly is wrong with it to get this few, this hard to grade for PSA 10, but the 9, I think, $197 is very undervalued. Even right now, even though that's probably a fair price in this current market, and the 10, let's say, maybe it gets a couple grand, maybe it gets like maybe this gets like $2,000 to $3,000. I don't know what it would get right now, but at 21 PSA 10 copies, that should be $5,000. That should be between 4 and 5. Beautiful, and a Houndoom at 31 should. If Misty's Golduck at like 51 PSA 10 copies, First Edition gets minimum $3,500. That's what I paid. And this other guy that I talked to, I was trying to buy his other one. And I offered him $3,500. Like, listen, I want another one. And he's just like, I had an offer for 4, and he wasn't doing it for 4. And I was like, what? So let's say between $4,200 and $4,500 for that. And that's 51 PSA 10 copies. This, which doesn't come out that often. Even the 9s I don't see for Houndour. It's just, I don't. Again, this is the second one I've seen, I think, in the last year for Houndour. And they just don't pop up. So even the 9s, 155 PSA 9, that's less than Misty's Gyarados, PSA 10. And obviously we see a lot of Misty's Gyarados. I'm the one buying most of them. But I just wanted to, that's where my thoughts are on this card for Houndour. If anyone has a 10, I'll buy it $2K from you right now. And again, I don't know what it's worth right now exactly, but figure if we do the 5 times 8 ratio, and then $197 anywhere from $500 to $800, or I'm sorry, $1,000 to $1,600, and at the higher end at 10x, it would be about $2 grand. So that would be a fair price point right now, even though I think it should be and will be in the future 2 times that at least. But again, that's what it's going for right now. If you want it cash, let me know. Gym Challenge First Edition. It was a pack. It was Giovanni artwork on this pack. And I don't know what the bid started at or whatever, but it got a decent amount. It was PSA 10. It was graded at PSA, PSA, they gave it a 10. And it got $330, which I think is a fair price point. But the reserve wasn't met. Like, if you're going to put it, like, why put the reserve so freaking high where you're not going to get, like, that just pisses the buyer off. That just pisses the seller off, too, because he's like, oh, well, got to do it again. He doesn't get their money right away. I don't know. Like, if you wanted to sell it, just list it. Don't put it on auction, just list it, and then wait for someone to buy it. Anyway, that's just me. Dragonite First Edition PSA 9 sold for $454. Feraligatr First Edition PSA 9 number 4 sold for $413. This matters. Okay, so we have a couple of bids here. The fourth one was at $350. So we have $350, $376. Then 408 and 413, and they're all good feedback, but it jumped a little bit between 376, 408, and that could have been the last couple minutes. 376 could have been the highest bid, and I think it was. I think I was following it, and I was like, and it was like 350 or something, and I'm waiting for it to go. I was like, and I told myself, like, this is going to be $400 card. And then it's like ended. I'm like, okay, it's not. So I go and I refresh, like, oh, 413. Okay. But why does this matter? Because this, for Alligator, number 4 is one that's more common, a little bit easier to grade than number 5. And I don't think it's as good artwork. Honestly, like, it's cool. All for Alligators are cool. You know, I don't hate all for Alligator lives matter. And this is 64 PSA 10 copies and 227 PSA 9 copies. And remember what I said I would do about market cap to see what is the most coveted card in a set? All right, so this market cap, because it has, let's just say 400, make the math even though this sold for 413, let's just say 400, and you times it by 227. That's 227 copies at PSA 9. You get a $90,800 market cap for this card. Now for Alligator number 5, there's a couple of sales. It had 425 it sold for on June 10th. And then I bought one for 411 on April 29th. So there hasn't been much movement the last couple of months. Now, there's only 18 PSA 10 copies for Alligator number 5. This one is harder to grade, it's rarer. A public sale hasn't happened with a 10 in a long time. Privately, one sold on Instagram for like $5K, which I still think is undervalued. And there's 183 PSA 9 copies. So there is less PSA 9 copies, and it's selling for about the same as number 4. Doesn't make sense. And if we do that, you know, let's say 400 times the 183, you get that $73,200 market cap, as opposed to the $90,800 market cap with the number 4. So this has so much more room to grow because only 18 PSA 10 copies, and, you know, far less 9s than the other one, because the other one's 200. So this has a lot of room to grow. If anyone wants it, $400, even $450, I'll pay them right now, because that has a lot of room to grow. That would be a $1,000 card in the future. Now, also why I think this happens, because there's a lot of PSA 9s available on Instagram. So yes, it is rare, but it's not scarce right now. Right now, there's just a lot of them, people putting above the last price point because that's what they do. And that is why, you know, I don't think you're really seeing record prices. If they would hold them and then, you know, one by one auction them off, but obviously you can't get like 10 owners to do that, you know, do what they want, which is fine, you know, free country. Slow King, first edition PSA 9, sold for $395. And again, I'm just going to point out 10 PSA 10 copies. We don't know what the 10 would sell for right now. And 194 PSA 9 copies. And if we do, let's say 400 times the 194, you're looking at 77,600 copies. Now this, or 77,600 market cap. This is not as coveted, I don't think, as like the starters. Or maybe it's not as popular as the starters, but because it only has 10 PSA 10 copies, I'm not going to say it's going to definitely sell for more than the number 5, but definitely going to sell for more than the For Alligator, which has 64 PSA 10 copies. So let's say that's $2,000. You know, this is going to get so much more, and even still, this has less of a market cap than the For Alligator number 4. So this doesn't make sense either. I think this is still undervalued as well at $400. Moving past that, Azumarill first edition PSA 9 sold for $98. And a Blaine's Growlithe. I'm bringing up this one because I love this card. It has sold for $30 previously. It was an auction, you know, $29 starting bid, and nobody bid on it. So nobody bid on it. They relisted it as a new auction. Now we have a Gold Star Charizard. This was PSA 9, and it was looking at, all right, so a lot of bids, 1850, 1900, 2000, 2000, 2100, 2300, and then 2325. So it's not just like there was 2325, 2300, then like 1800. No, there's a bunch of bids that all had good feedback. They all wanted this card at a PSA 9. I offered 4K for that BGS 9.5, which by itself would have been overpaying, but with that signature, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So 9.5 with the, I think that's a good price point. Even though that'd be a record price, and though there's not really Fukuda signatures, so it's really hard for the data point, it'd be definitely a record price for the 9.5. But looking here, this Gold Star Charizard, there's a lot for the Gold Star. And remember how I said the Gold Star Charizard and the Shining Charizard were about neck and neck as far as PSA 10 goes? Well, the last PSA, both of them sold for about $8K, but on the PWCC auction, this Shining Charizard, first edition PSA 10, with 9 days left, already has a bid of $8,100. 9 freaking days left, and it's got a bid of $8,100 already. Y'all motherfuckers are insane. I get it. I get it. This is going to be a record price point. It is already. And then we have a Latios Gold Star X Deoxys PSA 9, sold for $1,155. I do have to go right now, but there is a Trophy Kangaskhan PSA 7. I think it sold for $27,000. I don't have confirmation on that yet, but if so, record price point. I gotta go. I love you guys.